Hello and welcome to the Bets Unwrapped show. I'm joined, as always, by Alex. How you doing, Alex?
It's been a long week. I really need this power parlay to hit, or else my knees are going to be broken by my other bookie. So let's get it going.
Yeah, so if you don't know, Unwrapped Sports, we do now have YouTube. So check that out, Unwrapped Sports Network. Hit that like and subscribe button. I don't think I've ever said that in my life, but now I'm
I
saying
know.
it.
I was like, damn, look at Corey, man. On brand. So industry.
We also have a Twitch. We're live to Twitch now as well. So make sure you go over there. If you're on Twitch, give us a like there or a follow. We appreciate it. The goal is power parlay. Every game, we try to pick something from each and every game on the slate. We got a full slate this week, and hopefully we can win one of these big ass parlays. We're only betting $5. It's not huge money, but hopefully we'll have about, 16, 17, 18 legs, depending on the situation and what we like, and we'll go from there. So that being said, let's get into it. We got a big slate. We got Arizona Cardinals and New York Giants first up. The Cardinals, $1.69 on the money line, $2.18 for the Giants to win this game. The handicap's at 3. The Giants getting 3 points is $1.81. So many people talking about this game. I think the public's going to be on the Giants. I think some public money is going to come through on them. That's probably the side I want to be on, but I don't know. I'm just a little bit worried. I think it's a nice teaser game if you want to throw in a 6-point teaser on Giants and someone else. Teasing that up to 9 would be nice. Up through the 7, up through the 7.5, up to 9. And the total in this game is 46.5. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, no, I definitely see why the public is kind of leaning with the Giants. Giants have pulled out 4 straight. Arizona's kind of been down in terms of the way they've performed the last few weeks. But I see a bounce back game here for Kyler Murray. He's kind of hit a couple games where he wasn't performing as great as he was, whether it be fantasy or real life football. So give me the Cardinals covering at 3. If you can get it at 2.5 when the line starts moving, maybe jump on that. But I definitely like the Cardinals with the spread on this one.
All right. Well, I think we're going to go head-to-head on that one because I am not liking anything from this Cardinals offense. They have been very non-explosive. And Kyler Murray is definitely hurt. So I don't know what's going on there. But his yards per attempt are down. Everything's down. His rushing's down. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this offense. But let's look at the props here. We got quarterback market. We got Daniel Jones at 214.5. Kyler Murray at 240.5. Those are yards. And Kyler Murray over 1.5 touchdowns is paying $1.68. Daniel Jones over 1.5 touchdowns is paying $2.27. A little bit interesting. Daniel Jones fans out there. I don't think there's many. Rushing props, Wayne Gallman at 58.5, Kyler Murray at 36.5, Kenyon Drake at 53.5. Can you check while we're talking? Because I did see a little Q by his name in fantasy, so with Kenyon Drake. Chase Edmonds, 24.5. Daniel Jones, 17.5. I don't know if he's going to be running on that bulky hammy. Alfred Morris is at 18.5. Kenyon Drake rushing and receiving is at 66.5. Chase Edmonds rushing and receiving is at 46.5, and Wayne Gallman at 70.5. I kind of like Wayne Gallman rushing over 58.
I love that one too.
He's been crushing it lately. There's nothing about the Cardinals defense that's particularly scary. Like they've been playing decently well. So, funny thing about the Giants is their offense has played the toughest schedule so far this year, and their defense has played the easiest. So I don't know how to put that in perspective, but their defense is probably a little bit worse than we think, and their offense is probably a little bit better than we think. So, I like Wayne Gallman over 58.5. Receiving props, we got Sterling Shepard at 49.5, Evan Ingram at 42.5, Christian Kirk 41.5, DeAndre Hopkins 68.5. Kenyon Drake, 10.5. Chase Edmonds, 20.5. Fitzgerald, 26.5. Isabella, 15.5. Dan Arnold, who's been coming through, is at 18.5 again. Wayne Gallman is at 10.5. Golden Tate is at 32.5. Darius Slayton at 33.5. DeAndre Hopkins' receptions is only 5.5. That's paying $1.83 for the over. That's interesting. And Sterling Shepard is at 4.5 catches. Golden Tate 2.5. Slayton 2.5. And Ingram at 3.5. So anything that jumps out there?
Real quick, before I say that, so Drake has been nursing a hip injury, but he has been practicing the last few days. He did practice yesterday. Haven't seen any reports about it today, but they're expecting him to play, and if it's an inactive, it's going to be a complete blindside. So looks like he's a go.
All right,
but
so
probably stay away on the props for Power Parlay anyways.
Yeah. Wayne Gallman, move on.
Wayne Gallman is definitely the easiest one. DeAndre Hopkins, it's 5.5, correct?
Yeah.
He's hit that twice in the last 5 games, sorry. So the targets share is there, but like you've stated on your Twitter, the ability to exactly. So Wayne Gallman to me seems like the slam dunk or the easy breezy touchdown. So let's go with Gallman.
All right, we'll go with Wayne Gallman over 58.5 for our first game there. So the next one we got is Minnesota Vikings at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Minnesota Vikings are paying $3.50 on the money line. The Buccaneers paying $1.31. The Bucs are 6.5-point favorites in this one. The total in this game is at 52.5, and I like the over. I like the Bucs to cover the 6.5. What do you like about this game?
Yeah, you know what? I also like the Bucs to cover this game. I think this is going to be one of those trademark Brady games where everybody's kind of doubting him. Everybody's looking down on, is Father Time going to win? I think he's going to get a nice little 1-2 punch on Father Time and kind of take advantage of this Minnesota defense that made the Jaguars look very good the other week, last week. So give me the Bucs to cover.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So looking here at quarterback prop markets, Tom Brady is at 285.5 passing yards. Kirk Cousins at 269.5. Kirk Cousins passing TDs at 1.5. The over is paying $1.64. The under paying $2.17. Tom Brady passing touchdowns at 2.5. The over paying $2.33. The under paying $1.56. Rushing props, we got Ronald Jones at 63.5. Dalvin Cook at 83.5. Leonard Fournette at 22.5. Dalvin Cook rush attempts at 23.5. Ronald Jones rush attempts at 14.5. Dalvin Cook rushing and receivings at 113.5. Ronald Jones is at rushing and receivings at 72.5. Leonard Fournette's at 40.5 rushing and receiving. Receiving props, we got Rob Gronkowski 36.5, Adam Thielen 73.5, Dalvin Cook 27.5, Justin Jefferson 73.5, Ronald Jones 8.5, Leonard Fournette 15.5, Mike Evans at 53.5, Chris Godwin at 65.5, Antonio Brown 56.5, Dalvin Cook receptions at 3.5, and if he gets 3.5 catches, I'm going over yards. So Dalvin Cook receptions at 3.5. That's the over is paying $1.60. Adam Thielen's at 5.5. The over is paying $1.98. Justin Jefferson's at 5.5. The over is paying $1.98. Ronald Jones is at 1.5. The over is paying $1.98. Evans is at 4.5. The over is paying $1.83. Chris Godwin at 5.5. The over is paying $1.88. And Rob Gronkowski at 3.5. The over is paying $2. And last but not least, Antonio Brown receptions is at 5.5. The over is paying $2.10. Anything from that game that you like? There's quite a few things that I like in that game. But
you mentioned Dalvin Cook receptions. What is he at currently?
3.5.
Yeah, he's hit that 4 straight games. He's literally, I want to say, at like a 96% clip in terms of targets to receptions. So looks like in the last 4 weeks he has been getting the dump offs or those schemed plays for him. So I like that for sure.
Unfortunately, it's only paying $1.60. But I mean, we can throw it in.
Okay. No, I just, as soon as you said that, I was like, wow, that's an interesting number
I
for
do
the
like
way
his
he's been
yards
performing.
over. His yards are at 27.5.
He's hit that in 2 of the 4 games.
Don't love that. But
Yeah. And
I
those
just don't think
games
they're
he
going to be able to
had to
run.
have, and in those games he had 5+ receptions. So
Right.
average
I
isn't
just
looking so hot.
I don't see this game. I don't see Dalvin Cook getting tons of work on the ground. I think Tampa Bay's defense is very good against the run, so I think they're going to be pretty stingy in that way. So I think they're just going to be looking for other ways to get him the ball. But I mean, we can go elsewhere. We can go. I mean, Jefferson's at 73.5. Thielen's at 73.5. Gronk's at 36.5. We could go down that path again. It's always fun. Or we could go super sneaky and go Ronald Jones over 2 catches.
Let's see what.
Or over 8.5 yards receiving. He usually gets 1. And it's usually for like 9, 10 yards, sometimes less.
In the month of November, in 4 games, Ronald Jones has only had over 9.5. Is it 8.5 or 9.5?
Yeah, 8.5.
He's hit that twice in the last 4 weeks. And last week he had that one big run for 37. Or not last week, the week before that, because they were on a bye week. But I mean, that's a tough one.
Mike Evans?
See, Mike Evans.
Over 53.5. It's either that or it's Godwin receptions. I'm thinking
over 53.5 for
Evans.
For Mike Evans. He's hit that 2 out of the last 4 times, and it wasn't the last 2 games either. So let's see what Chris
Godwin receptions is at 5.5.
Godwin has been in the last 3 games, he's had 6, 7, and 8 receptions. So
yeah, all right.
Brady's definitely leaning on him. All right, Chris Godwin over 5.5.
Receptions over 5.5.
Are you a Godwin truther or an Evans truther? Are you one of those?
Well,
before the season when everybody was like choosing sides before AB got there.
Yeah. This season I was Evans. I did have a couple of years ago. I had Godwin shares, so I loved Godwin, but that was before he kind of blew up. And this year I was on the Evans train. Still am, by the way. Denver Broncos at the Carolina Panthers. The Broncos paying $2.60 on the money line. Panthers paying $1.50. It's not Drew Lock season. We know that. It won't be. At least it won't be next year. Hopefully.
Come on.
Getting 3.5 points in this one. The total is 44.5. Who do you got in this one? I'm staying away from this game. If I had to choose, I would take the Panthers minus 3.5.
Yeah, no. Give me Broncos with the spread. DJ Moore doesn't look like he's going to be playing.
No McCaffrey.
No McCaffrey. Which, by the way, McCaffrey's got to be. It's got to be hard for everybody who drafted him at 1 overall this year to be missing it, to have him only play 3 games. But RIP to those teams. But yeah,
I said it was coming, but whatever.
You did. Did anybody fight you on that? I think so. Yeah, I definitely avoided drafting him 1 overall when I got the pick. Yeah, no, give me the Broncos to cover.
All right.
I gotta die on that hill, unfortunately.
Well, if the Broncos get covered, Tim Patrick anytime touchdown, he crushed it last week. $3.40 in this one, just FYI.
I love Tim Patrick. That's my guy.
Well, then you'll love $3.40 as well. So, quarterback props, we got Teddy Bridgewater at 241.5, Drew Lock at 230.5. Drew Lock passing TDs, your boy, 1.5. The over paying $2.19. Teddy Bridgewater over 1.5 is paying $1.77. We're definitely not putting that in a power parlay.
No.
Mike Davis rushing yards is at 57.5. Melvin Gordon's at 54.5. That seems awfully low. Drew Lock's at 10.5. Teddy Bridgewater's at 13.5. Philip Lindsay's at 28.5. Mike Davis rushing and receiving's at 84.5. Receiving props, we got Tim Patrick at 47.5. Jerry Jeudy at 43.5. Man, did he kill me last week. 1 catch, 5 yards. Great job, Jerry. Curtis Samuel, 57.5. Robbie Anderson at 74.5. Noah Fant at 40.5. Melvin Gordon at 10.5 receiving. KJ Hamler at 31.5. Mike Davis at 23.5. And Brandon Zylstra at 19.5. Just in case you wanted a little Brandon Zylstra in your props. Tim Patrick over 3.5 catches. Judy's at 3.5 catches. Hamler 3.5 catches. Fant at 4.5 catches. Davis is at 3.5. Samuel's at 4.5. Paying no money basically. Robbie Anderson's at 6.5, and that's about it. I like Melvin Gordon over 54.5 yards rushing.
Yeah, no, that one definitely is low, but I think that's just because he did have a string of rough weeks, so we're still kind of benefiting of the of those kind of lines. So yeah, I like Gordon for sure. Tim Patrick's receptions was at 3.5. What's that paying?
It is $1.70.
He's literally had at least 4 receptions in 8 of the 10 games that Drew Lock started. That an actual Bronco quarterback started.
All right.
Because the one game he didn't have a catch was a disaster. But yeah, Tim Patrick over 3.5 receptions seems like a lock.
All right. So are we going Tim Patrick or are we going Melly?
I would say only because as all the shares I have of Tim Patrick, I think damn it, Panthers defense is pretty buns too.
Exactly.
That's a oof. I like the numbers. The numbers lean towards the Tim Patrick, but Melvin Gordon is like the way he ran last week is kind of like what I expected when I predicted the Broncos would be this number 2 in the AFC West. Stop smiling like that. So yeah, we can go with the hot hand. Which they're both kind of hot actually.
I like Melly.
Melly?
I'm
rolling.
Not relying. The only thing I rely Drew Lock on doing is handing the ball off to Melly and then him taking off. So
I can live with that. What's the number?
I can handle that. 54.5.
All right, let's lock that in.
All right, next game: Tennessee Titans at your Jacksonville Jaguars. No, I'm just kidding.
It's like, wait a minute.
Are paying $1.27 on the money line. The Jags are paying $3.78. They are getting 7.5 points in this one. Derrick Henry loves to murder the Jags, so we'll see where his line's at. But in a second, but the total in this game is 52.5. What do you? I like the Titans here. I don't know what else there is to say.
Yeah, no, definitely. I know the Jaguars have kind of the last couple of weeks with the Packers and with the Vikings. They covered their spread, but I don't think it's going to happen against the Titans this week. I think it's going to be one of those games where Derrick Henry just shoves himself into this defense, and it's just going to be all Titans all day. Give me the Titans with the spread.
I agree with you there. Quarterback props, we got Mike Glennon at 254.5. He's been chucking it. Ryan Tannehill at 245.5. Passing touchdowns, Ryan Tannehill over 1.5 is paying $1.64. Mike Glennon over 1.5 is paying $1.96. Rushing props, actually, Mike Glennon to throw an interception is paying $1.62, and Ryan Tannehill to throw an interception is paying $1.96. Derrick Henry rushing yards is set at 108.5 yards. That's a pretty high total. James Robinson is at 77.5 yards rushing. Ryan Tannehill's at 9.5. Mike Glennon's at 6.5. Jeremy McNichols is at 16.5 if you're feeling lucky. Derrick Henry rush attempts at 23.5. James Robinson's at 18.5. James Robinson rushing and receiving is at 112.5. And Derrick Henry first rush attempt over 4.5 yards is paying $1.83. Feeling extra lucky. DJ Shark is at 59.5. Eifert's at 25.5. Henry's at 6.5. Johnny Smith is at 26.5. Corey Davis at 68.5. AJ Brown 65.5. Is he good to go? His ankle. James Robinson receiving is at 30.5. Keelan Cole 29.5. Laviska Shenault at 33.5. Colin Johnson 28.5. Cameron Batson my DFF sleeper, fantasy sleeper, 16 and a half yards receiving. Derrick Henry, total receptions over 1.5 is paying 202. Corey Davis over 4.5 is paying $1.77. AJ Brown over 4.5 is paying $1.94. Jonnu Smith over 2.5 receptions paying $1.84. James Robinson over 4.5 receptions paying $1.98. And there's so many of these. So LaVisca over 3.5 receptions paying $2.07. Anything you like out of those?
I definitely like Henry rushing, but he actually, with 25 rushing attempts the previous time, he only got to 84 yards, but it was one of those like Minshew Mania close game affairs, 33-30. I like Derrick Henry, even with that. Corey Davis, I'm not seeing anything pop up in terms of an injury. So
No, AJ Brown.
Oh, AJ Brown. Sorry. No wonder.
He went down last week with that ankle, like weird kind of situation, but he did come back. I know he was limited in practice early in the week. I'm not sure where he's at now. Looks like he's going to be playing, but
yeah, as of yesterday, he no longer has an injury designation.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's good to go.
Right. So, I mean, this Jaguars pass defense is absolute just garbage. So I don't mind
Brown
taking
is a
AJ
man
Brown
on a mission when he gets the ball, huh?
Yeah, I don't mind taking AJ Brown over 65.5.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, he missed the first contest against Jacksonville this year.
So do we go AJ Brown or Henry?
What's AJ Brown at? It's 65.5.
65.5, yes.
In his two previous games against the Jags, he averages 69.5 yards. That was last year. So against this pass defense, I think AJ Brown is the move. I like Derrick Henry too, but that might be one of those like trap picks. But give me like AJ Brown. That touchdown he had the other day was insane.
AJ Brown's in. That's all I have to say. Even though he's being outplayed by Corey Davis, but that's all right. Anyway, I digress. Dallas Cowboys at the Cincinnati Bengals. What a game this will be. Cowboys, $1.56 on the money line. The Cincinnati Bengals, $2.44. The Bengals only getting 3 points in this one. The respect being shown to Zach Taylor and the Bengals in this one is amazing. I'll take the Cowboys minus the 3. There's not much to like with this Brandon Allen run Bengals team. Total in this game is 42.5. What do you got?
Yeah. I've been emotionally scarred with the Cowboys betting on them this year. I've already lost they were the last leg of a 12-leg parlay in week 1, and I have yet to touch them since. But if I like Cowboys covering the spread on this one for sure. The Bengals, they got no teeth or fangs, so give me the Cowboys to cover this one easy.
Shout out to MD Lawson, 00 there. What up, guys? Glad we're on Twitch now. MD Lawson's part of the Unwrapped fam. Yeah, I'm glad we're on Twitch as well. So did you say you're taking the Cowboys, right?
Yeah, I'm taking the Cowboys.
Yeah, okay. I thought I heard something. Quarterback props, we got Brandon Allen at 205.5, Andy Dalton at 247.5. Let's not go through these. All right, we're wasting. No one's betting on quarterback props there. Rushing props, we got Giovanni Bernard at 56.5, which is totally inflated. I understand that Dallas's run defense is trash, but I mean, Gio has not been that guy. Ezekiel Elliott's at 75.5, Andy Dalton at 4.5 yards rushing, Brandon Allen at 9.5 yards rushing, Samaje Perine at 20.5 yards rushing. Now, I would be more likely to bet Samaje Perine goes over than I would Giovanni Bernard. Giovanni Bernard rushing and receiving is at 77.5, Ezekiel Elliott rushing and receiving is at 90.5. Receiving props, we got Bernard at 17.5, Gallup at 51.5, Schultz at 36.5, Elliott 13.5, Amari Cooper 59.5, CeeDee Lamb 49.5, Tyler Boyd, 59.5. Hopefully he stays in the whole game this time. Drew Sample, because he got ejected last game, just in case no one knew it. Drew Sample's at 27.5. Samaji P. Ryan's at 4.5. Receptions wise, we got Giovanni Bernard at 2.5 receptions. Gallup at 3.5. Schultz at 3.5. Amari Cooper at 4.5. CeeDee Lamb 3.5. Ezekiel Elliott 2.5. That came through for me last week. Tyler Boyd 4.5. Drew Sample at 2.5. I don't know. Kind of like Zeke again. Over 2.5 receptions, paying $2.26, but it was dicey. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Before last week, he hadn't hit over that since the Week 6 matchup against the Cardinals. So the consistency is not there, but I mean, the dump offs I could totally see happening.
Well, I mean, this is Andy Dalton's revenge game, so anything can happen.
Oh, that's true. Red Rifle returns back home. What was CeeDee's receptions at?
CeeDee Lamb is at 3.5, but it's only paying $1.59 for the over.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say that's really low. What about your dynasty hold Amari Cooper?
He is not my guy. If we want, I mean, we can bet Amari Cooper yards. Yeah, I think you're flipping a coin when it comes to these Dallas receivers, to be honest.
Yeah. What's Zeke's receiving yards at? Is it 13.5?
Yep.
Oh, that's a tough one too. How
many catches did Gio have last week?
Let's see. Giovanni Bernard. I see a lot of articles of them saying Bernard's really going to go off this week. It's like, yeah, you've been saying that for like 5 weeks.
Just the matchup.
Yeah. He had 2 receptions for a whopping -1 yards.
Yeah, we can't do that.
No.
We got to come up with something. I'm leaning Elliott over 75.5 yards rushing.
Let's see. He has hit that
Bengals
2 out of the last 4 games. It is the Bengals defense.
So you want to talk about smash spots?
I mean, Zeke might be the move here, actually. I mean, he's the fumbling this year aside. I still like Elliott. Yeah, and Dallas receivers are tough too.
Especially if Dallas gets up in this game, I think.
Yeah, Zeke might fit the game script. So yeah, let's just go Zeke with the yards.
All right, we're going Elliott over 75.5 yards rushing in that game. The next game, we got the Houston Texans at Chicago Bears. Texans are $1.75 money line favorite. The Bears paying $2.08 on the money line. The Texans are giving 1.5 points to the Chicago Bears in this one. And the total in this game is at 45.5. The over paying $1.84. What do you like about this game? I like the Texans, unfortunately.
Yeah, I like the Texans in this one too. I think they'll figure out a way to pull it out. But maybe we finally see that big game from your boy Jordan Akins this game.
Maybe. It's possible. I don't know if it's probable, but it's definitely possible. Yeah, so looking here at some of the props, I mean, I need Deshaun Watson to not play well because I'm playing the fantasy playoffs, but that's all right. Deshaun Watson. Oh yeah, do you have him?
Yeah, hold on, let me check. All right,
I was looking at that one because I was like, how am I going to get back in this game after playing Cam and Damien Harris? And I'm like, I don't have any guys that are like in blow up spots, so I might be done and toasted there. So, Deshaun Watson's at 278.5. Mitch Trubisky's at 239.5. Deshaun Watson to throw over 1.5 touchdowns is paying $1.52. Trubisky over 1.5 touchdowns is paying $1.87. Watson to throw an interception $1.87. Trubisky to throw an interception $1.79. Rushing props, we got David Montgomery, who's been playing very well at 65.5. Duke Johnson at 45.5. Now that David Johnson is on the COVID list. Deshaun Watson at 26.5 yards rushing. Cordarrelle Patterson at 19.5 yards rushing. David Montgomery, rushing and receiving, is at 93.5 yards. Receiving props, we got Allen Robinson at 73.5, David Montgomery at 24.5 yards receiving, Jordan Akins at 26.5, Duke Johnson at 22.5, Cordell Patterson at 9.5, Anthony Miller at 32.5, Darnell Mooney at 36.5, Cole Kmet at 22.5, Jimmy Graham at 15.5, and receptions-wise, we got Duke Johnson 3.5, Akins at 2.5, David Montgomery 3.5, Allen Robinson 6.5, Anthony Miller 3.5. As you notice, there's no Kiki Kuti, there's no Chad Hansen on these. So very interesting in the receiving market for the Texans. I mean, Brandon Cooks isn't even on here yet. So what do you like about these props, if anything at all?
How funny is it that it's the team that you have Drew Lock sucks in that I might get my revenge game, even though I'm not playing Lock this game.
How dare you show this screen?
David Montgomery rushing. I like that one too. Rushing and receiving. That one is interesting because you said it was at 97?
93.5.
93.5. He has hit that with rushing and receiving in 3 of the last 4 games. And he has in the last 4 games, like increased his looks. I mean, he's gotten more looks through the passing game too. So that's an interesting little side note there as well. Rushing and receiving for Montgomery for sure. Some early favorites.
All right, we can go rushing and receiving. I like the ones when they're baked in together because then, one or the other can bail you out there if you need it. So,
Definitely.
A screen pass that goes for 50 yards and he, sucks on the ground that day and he gets 50 yards. So you win. So let's go David Montgomery, rushing and receiving. I've always been a Monty truther. So hopefully pans out for me here.
See, this is exactly why I like my combos in the NBA.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
exactly.
And speaking of NBA, we're going to be doing that soon as well. That's going to be back, and we're going to be back to NBA player props and betting the center versus Jokic.
Yes, every single game.
Every time. We got the next game is the Kansas City Chiefs at the Miami Dolphins. This game's very interesting. I still love the Chiefs. Chiefs are 7-point favorites in this game. I don't see how the Dolphins win this game at all. I think the Chiefs crush them. I do think it's going to be a little bit dicier because I think Brian Flores will take the page out of his predecessor, Bill Belichick, slow this Chiefs offense down a little bit, keep everything in front of them, don't let anything deep. But, they're going to get carved up, death by paper cuts, and the Dolphins, I don't think will be able to score very much in this game. So I like the Chiefs minus the 7. The total in this game is at 50.5. I would lean to the under, but what do you like about this game?
Yeah, no, I definitely like the Chiefs to cover. I know they haven't been doing that part of the gambling side for us, but the Dolphins are now without Myles Gaskin. He just got added to the COVID list today, so I'm not making the same mistake I made last week. Which, by the way, shout out to Monique for putting me on blast. Did you see the clip of our promo?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, it was me calling out me calling that Booker would hit, and I put my name next to it, and he didn't hit. So even though as tempting as DeAndre Washington 45.5 might be, no thanks. But yeah, give me the Chiefs to cover, definitely.
Yeah, so you mentioned Gaskin out, so don't have to worry about him. Tua over 234.5 yards passing. Mahomes at 310.5 yards passing. Mahomes to throw over 2.5 touchdowns is paying $2.24. Tua to throw over 1.5 touchdowns paying $1.87. The under is also paying $1.87. Tua to throw interception, yes, is paying $1.59. Mahomes, yes, is $2.19. Rushing props, Mahomes is at 16.5. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, how the mighty have fun. It's at 39.5. Le'Veon Bell at 22.5. Tua's at 9.5 yards rushing. DeAndre Washington's at 45.5 yards rushing. Clyde Edwards-Helaire rushing and receiving is at 55.5. Receiving prop markets, we've got Devontae Parker at 57.5. Gesicki at 43.5. Tyreek Hill at 78.5. And the person we're going to be betting on is Travis Kelce at 73.5. Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 12.5. Sammy Watkins at 38.5. Demarcus Robinson, 27.5. McCole Hardman at 19.5. Jakeem Grant at 25.5. DeAndre Washington at 17.5. Do we need to go any farther than betting Travis Kelce yards?
That might just be the easiest one to do, just because, I mean, Tua time hasn't. Say that again?
I say he's going to get all the underneath targets.
Yeah, and Travis Kelce's a yak monster, so
yeah,
that's the move, man. Travis Kelce, and what is that currently?
73.5.
And they really keep it in that 70 range, and it's
been a
problem all year.
Yeah, no. The next game is your favorite team, the New York Jets. No, I'm just kidding. The New York Jets at the Seattle Seahawks. The Jets are $8 on the money line. Seahawks paying $1.08. They are giving the Jets 14.5 points in this game. The total's at 47.5. I like the over, but that's about it in this game.
Yeah, the over definitely. I would lean Jets to cover only because I just see Darnold and Crowder kind of cooking up the secondary a little bit. Not like a cooking up like how I would say Wilson would do it, but I mean this Jets team finds a way to cover these games, man. So I and the Seahawks to me with the spread this year and years past is just not the funnest, especially at double digits. So leaning towards Jets covering for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a fun side to be on rooting for the Jets, but yeah.
That's gross. No thanks.
Sam Darnold passing is at 223.5. Russell Wilson's at 282.5. Passing touchdowns. Sam Darnold throw over 1.5 touchdowns, paying $2.42. The under paying $1.52. Wilson to throw 2.5 touchdowns over is paying $2.24. The under paying $1.60. Rushing props, we got Russell Wilson at 26.5, Chris Carson at 57.5, Sam Darnold at 14.5, Carlos Hyde at 20.5. Chris Carson rushing and receiving's at 77.5, Carlos Hyde's at 28.5. Receiving props, Tyler Lockett at 65.5, Chris Carson at 20.5, DK Metcalf 80.5, Will Disley 18.5, Braxton Berrios, he might be the play. I know it's not fun. 39.
One of the best Patriots receivers in draft history in the last 10 years.
One of the only ones that are still playing. Rashad Perryman's at 56.5. And Carlos Hyde's at 8.5. David Moore at 22.5. Jacob Hollister 22.5. Ryan Griffin 14.5. Looking at receptions, Lockett's at 5.5. Metcalf's at 5.5. Perryman's at 3.5. Berrios is at 3.5. Now, Crowder is banged up, and I don't know if he's going to play. He got downgraded, I think, yesterday.
I can look it up right now. Let me see.
But if Crowder's out, Braxton Berrios is going to catch 4 balls, and that's paying $1.98. I think that's pretty good value right there. So, for you guys keeping track at home, David Moore's at 2.5 receptions, and Jacob Hollister's at 2.5 receptions as well. I'm not betting anything Tyler Lockett. He's kind of been abysmal the last, 5 weeks or so. Chris Carson has been pretty solid, but I just don't know how much he's going to play. They did say as soon as the game was over last week that he's not quite 100%. So whatever that means, but he has been producing. So do you have anything on Jamison Crowder?
On Jamison Crowder, I know he didn't. I see that he did not practice on Friday, so that already is kind of putting it up there in a bad look. And Adam Gase is reported to have said his game status is up in the air. It's not ideal, but there's nothing we can really do about it. If we lose him, that's a tough one. Yeah, that sounds like somebody trying to just let us know, like, yeah, he probably isn't playing. So no Mims, no Crowder. And possibly, Perriman could have a day.
Yeah. I definitely think Perriman can have a day. But I just think Berrios gets all the kind of underneath stuff, and he gets 4 I mean, he probably has like 8 catches, to be honest. But over 3.5, I think is a lock.
Over 3.5.
Go bet it now before we put our parlay in.
And then also, the Jets defense has only given up less than 2 touchdowns twice this year to quarterbacks. I don't know if that makes us want to jump on the Wilson side, but I like Perriman yards. The Barrios one, I mean, in the games that he did kind of get more of with snap percentage, I mean, he definitely, like against Kansas City, 11 targets, 8 receptions, 7 targets, 4 receptions in the Buffalo game. I mean, he definitely, when he's playing, he's involved. So Mims and Crowder look to be out. Barrios, I mean, that might be the sneaky one, and maybe a little birthday magic gets this entire thing going. Braxton
We're
Berrios.
going Barrios. Let's go, Braxton.
Over 3.5, right?
Yeah, over 3.5 catches.
All right.
Yep.
What are the odds at right now? I'm just curious. Just what are we?
202 to 1.
Okay. All right.
All right.
It's a dinner. That's a dinner in some bougie spot in LA.
Indianapolis Colts at the Las Vegas Raiders. The Colts are $1.60. The Raiders paying $2.34. The Colts are giving the Raiders 3 points in this one. Woo. I don't know, man. The total in this one's 51.5. I kind of want to go with the Raiders getting 3 points, but I don't know. This Colts team could beat down this Raiders team pretty easily, I think.
Yeah, no, the Colts are going to do this for the shoe or whatever their Twitter hashtag thing is. Give me Colts -3. Give me Colts -7. I would take that one.
Wow.
Yeah, I am not a believer in the Raiders team. Shout out to Darren Waller, though. He's been killing it.
He has. We will get there in a second. Quarterback props wise, we got Derek Carr at 248.5, Phillip Rivers at 271.5. Derek Carr over 1.5 touchdowns. Passing is $1.73. Phillip Rivers over 1.5 touchdowns, paying $1.59. Rushing props, we got not a lot. We just got Jonathan Taylor at 56.5, Naheem Hines at 18.5. I'm already telling you right now, I think we should go Jonathan Taylor over 56.5 against this Raiders defense. Nelson Aguilar is at 41.5. Darren Waller at 16.5. T.Y. Hilton at 53.5. He's been killing it last couple of weeks. Michael Pittman at 46.5. Hunter Renfrow at 37.5. Henry Ruggs 33.5. Jonathan Taylor receivings at 16.5. They finally boosted that a little bit. Naheem Hines at 22.5. Zach Pascal 29.5. Mo Alley Cox at 19.5. Trey Burton at 20.5. Jonathan Taylor receptions at 2.5. Naheem Hines at 2.5. T.Y. Hilton 4.5. Michael Pittman 3.5. Aguilar 3.5. Hunter Renfrow 3.5. Waller 5.5. All right, what's it going to be?
Yeah, I don't think we have to look too far and wide. It might just be whichever gives us the best odds. But rushing and receiving for Jonathan Taylor. I think all 3 of those are in play here. He's definitely is rushing and receiving. I think I have it at 77.5. Is that what you have it too?
Yep.
Yeah, he's hit that alone with rushing, and he's had 4 and 3 targets the last 2 games. He's definitely trending in the direction here that I think we got to take advantage of his lower numbers.
Yeah. All right. Let's go rushing and receiving. Jonathan Taylor over 77.5. Lock that one in. So we got a couple of those this week with Monty and him. So if you're keeping track at home, you might be able to throw a couple of those in to just a smaller parlay, I would say. So the 17 months just
less powerful parlay
that we're about to do. Yeah. Less powerful, yes, for sure. New Orleans Saints at the Philadelphia Eagles. What a matchup. Taysom Hill and Jalen Hurts. Don't know what else to say about this game. The Saints are $1.23 on the money line. Favorite, the Philadelphia Eagles are $4.20. The Saints are giving the Eagles 7.5 points, and I could give them 30. No, I'm kidding. But I'm taking the Saints minus 7.5 in this game. The Eagles have no offensive line, and they expect Jalen Hurts to actually do something about that. I don't see it. The total in this game is 42.5. It's a low total. I don't know. What do you think? I like the Saints.
Yeah, I like the Saints too. It'd be a better story for Jalen Hurts to be taking over, like you said, with a better offensive line. But I think Jason Peters offers the same level of offensive protection that I would if I was in his spot. So yeah, I don't. Jalen Hurts is not in an ideal situation. So yeah, Saints covering, and I would almost lean. I'm leaning and liking the over. I think they'll get past for at least 45, 50 in that kind of range. I think 43 is a little low. I think it's just the Vegas line tempering what Jalen Hurts is going to do. So I'm going to put money on that over just for fun.
Just for fun. All right. Quarterback prop markets. We got Taysom Hill at 208.5. Jalen Hurts at 207.5. I should put everything in perspective for you. Taysom Hill passing touchdowns over 1.5 is paying $2.37. Jalen Hurts over 1.5 touchdowns is paying. Why is it 1.5? There's no chance he goes 1.5. Is that 242 for Jalen Hurts? I don't think he throws 2 touchdowns in this game, but I could be wrong. Jalen Hurts to throw an interception, yes, is paying $1.45. Taysom Hill to throw interceptions is paying $2.47. So Taysom Hill is getting that Aaron Rodgers love on not throwing picks. So that's interesting. Taysom Hill rushing yards is at 45.5. Alvin Kamara is at 55.5. Please do something. He did something last week. That was good to see. But Miles Sanders at 49.5. Please give him the ball. Jalen Hurts is at 38.5 yards rushing. Latavius Murray's at 35.5. Alvin Kamara rushing and receiving 75.5. Miles Sanders rushing and receiving is at 64.5. Receiving props, we got Alvin Kamara at 17.5. Michael Thomas 73.5. Emmanuel Sanders 32.5. Miles Sanders 12.5. Dallas Goedert 38.5. Greg Ward 27.5. That finally changed last week. I bet under on Greg Ward every week. Jalen Hurts comes in and just like peppers Greg Ward. I was like, oh, of course. Jalen Reagor at 29.5 yards. That's disrespectful. Traquan Smith at 17.5. Jared Cook at 16.5. Alshon Jeffrey 12.5. Travis Fulgham's at 14.5 yards.
Oh man, how the mighty have fallen.
Brutal. Zach Ertz at 24.5. And receptions wise, we got Thomas at 5.5, Sanders at 2.5, Goddard 3.5, Greg Ward 2.5, Jalen Reagor 2.5, Kamara 2.5, Sanders 1.5, Fulgham 1.5, and Ertz 2.5. Wow, that's interesting. Greg Ward over 2.5 catches.
Oh man.
Slightly kidding.
Let's see.
Goddard over 3.5.
I know last week Murray was a disappointment, but the 4 weeks before that he's hit that over easy.
No, I'm not doing Murray.
No. All right, cool.
No.
Isn't it? I know it's like because of Taysom Hill, but isn't it crazy to see Kamara's receiving line that low?
Yes.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yes.
Taysom
Hill over 45.5 yards rushing.
If the Saints are playing the Falcons, I might go Mike Thomas over receptions because they're not. And when they face the fierce defense that is the Denver Broncos, he only put up 4 receptions. So
I like Taysom rushing. I don't really love Kamara rushing against this Philly defense.
Yeah.
I like Goddard over 3.5 catches.
See, Taysom Hill's rushing. What is it at?
45.5.
Oh, bastards. They put it slightly. Okay. I could see him hit that. And you said Goddard receptions. I mean, if there's somebody in this receiving core, like in terms of for the Eagles, I would say Goddard would probably be a safety blanket, right?
That's what I'm thinking when I go with catches. I think he has probably 4 or 5. Not saying he's going to be a world beater, but 38.5 yards as well. I think that's doable. I know Wentz was relying on him a little bit more than probably Hurts will, but at the same time, I think he's a good player. So,
what if we take a risk here?
Okay, what's that? I like risk.
Rager over yards. Only because Hurts did only have one target to Rager, but that was for 34 yards. So I could see Hurts willing to push the ball down. Maybe I agree with you. I think that's a disrespectful line of Rager. That might be. I might actually lock that one in for the ones I'm going to tweet out, but I could see him getting at least 2 or 3 receptions covering that easy. But again, the Saints secondary isn't
someone to play with.
Yeah.
You
know what?
I mean, receptions
Goddard
at
seems like the safer play. Oh.
Rager's receptions are at 2.5. So if you want to go over that, we can go over that, or we can go Goddard 3.5, or Taysom.
Let's go Taysom.
Oh, I didn't expect that. Okay. Well, take Taysom Hill over 45.5 yards rushing. That is in the power parlay. It can never come out again. It's stuck in there. All right. Green Bay Packers at the Detroit Lions. The Green Bay Packers paying $1.20 on the money line. Detroit Lions paying $4.45. Packers minus 8.5 in this one. I like the Packers. I like the over as well at 54.5. That wasn't a question. That's more of a statement. Sorry. But I like the over 54.5 as well. So what do you like about this game?
Before I make that statement, do you know off the top of your head, or if you've seen it just because of fantasy, what's Kenny Galladay's situation?
Kenny Galladay's situation is that he wants to be paid like a premier receiver, and so he's going to be hurt for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Until that happens.
Right. You know what? This is just like a feeling, but I'm going to take Lions with the spread here. It's a divisional game. I just feel like the Lions and Stafford will figure out a way to get themselves in this game. The Packers defense tends to be unspread friendly, as I learned a couple times already this year. So give me Lions with the spread.
What's happening? Are you taking the Lions and the spread?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna do another parlay challenge.
Oh, I mean, I'll take the Packers. I'll take the Packers and the Giants. That's cool. Do I get 6 points as well? Can I do a 6-point tease? Can I tease the Packers down from 8.5 to 2.5?
Can I tease them to the Detroit line to 14.5?
Yeah.
We can do that. We can have some fun with it on Twitter.
All right. Props wise, we got Aaron Rodgers at 311.5, Matthew Stafford at 279.5, Aaron Rodgers to throw over 2.5 touchdowns, paying $2.14. Matthew Stafford to throw over 1.5 touchdowns, paying $1.72. Rushing props, Aaron Jones at 63.5, Jamal Williams at 24.5. That's all we got on that because of the Swift news. Sounds like he will play, but it doesn't sound great. I'm not really loving it.
I really hope he's okay because just some of the reports I was reading, that's really concerning.
Yeah, I don't want another Javid Best situation in Detroit.
Yeah. So sad.
Devontae Adams at 91.5 yards receiving. Alan Lazard's at 42.5. Marquise Valadez Scantling's at 30.5. Robert Tonyan 39.5. Marvin Jones at 61.5. Danny Amendola, that's a lock, 35.5. Hawkinson at 48.5.
A lock too.
You like Hawkinson over 48.5?
Ever since in the last 3 games, 7 targets, 4 receptions, 68 yards, 8 targets, 5 receptions, 89 yards, 9 targets, 7 receptions, 84 yards.
All right, I'm just going to tell it.
Stafford's leaning with him. Say it again.
I'm going to have a big same game around this game because I like Amendola yards. I like Hawkinson yards. I kind of like Devontae Adams yards, even though it's at 91.5. But I like Aaron Judge rushing yards as well. 63.5. That's far too low. Yeah. So where are we going? We can put all of them in if you want. You can put Hawkinson and Aaron Jones in if you want.
See Aaron Jones. Let me just look at Aaron Jones up.
Just look at Aaron Jones last time they played Detroit.
Last time they played Detroit, he had a measly 168 yards. Come on, Corey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. That's why I did that. I did that on purpose.
And what? It's at 63 and a half? Oof.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Aaron Jones season? Should we double dip in this one?
We can. Aaron Jones and Hawkinson.
I almost want to be a little conservative because I want to win one sooner than later.
All right.
Yeah, we'll be conservative on this one.
It won't be this game that trips us up. Signed.
You know Corey. What? You know what, Corey? Scared money doesn't make money. Put Aaron Jones on that.
And Hawkinson?
Yeah, I'm putting them both in.
Okay, they're both in.
If imagine that imagine Aaron Jones is the one that's
right. He gets like 62 yards.
That would be so brutal. Gambling.
That would hurt. Atlanta Falcons at the Los Angeles Chargers. The Falcons are paying $1.83 on the money line. Chargers paying $1.98. The Falcons are 1-point favorites in this one. It's razor thin between these two teams. The total's at 48.5. Julio's out. So keep that in mind.
Was Julio ever in? I have him in fantasy, sorry.
Shots fired. Justin Jackson's going to be coming back, I think, this one. So I don't know what that does to the whole running back situation, but it muddies it up a little bit. So who do you like in this
Christian,
game?
Shut up. Look at this comment.
Christian. All right. Who do you like in this game? I kind of like the Falcons, but I don't love it.
You know what? I like the Chargers, and I'm saying this begrudgingly because I want them to win a game so bad. But yeah, I like the Chargers with the spread. It's actually 1 here in America. So if you,
it's 1. I said 1.
Oh, I thought you said 1.5. I'm sorry. Yeah. Give me Chargers money line. Let's have some fun.
Christian wants to talk smack right now. Christian, go to bed. Thanks.
It's 5:26 in the Christian and his Ramley.
For sure.
Yeah,
let's
give me
the props. You can have your Chargers. I'm gonna take the Falcons. Herbert, your boy, 281.5 yards passing. Matt Ryan's at 272.5. Herbert passing over 1.5 is paying $1.61. Matt Ryan over 1.5 touchdowns paying $1.66. Rushing props, Eckler's at 49.5. Gurley's at 42.5. Herbert's at 11.5. Ito Smith's at 18.5. Brian Hill's at 19.5. Eckler rushing and receiving is at 91.5. Keenan Allen at 73.5 yards receiving. Mike Williams at 44.5. Calvin Ridley at 76.5. Hayden Hurst at 40.5. Hunter Henry at 36.5. Jalen Guyton 21.5. Russell Gage 46.5. Austin Eckler at 39.5. Total receptions. Calvin Ridley's at 5.5. Russell Gage 4.5. Eckler 5.5. Keenan Allen 6.5. Mike Williams 3.5. Hunter Henry 3.5. And that's it. What are we going with the power parlay? Ito Smith?
No. Give me Justin Herbert with the. I like him with the passing yards, and is his touchdowns 2.5 or 1.5?
1.5, but it's only $1.61.
Oh, damn.
Well, we can put it in if you want.
Because I can see because the Atlanta Falcons have given up 3 touchdowns to quarterbacks 6 times. Herbert's definitely one of those candidates, and this could be one of those little breathers. Remember how I said that, like make Monday night a breather, so it's not, we're not stressing. I like Herbert over 1.5 if you want to put that in there, or if you want to get the odds. I like the yards for sure.
I kind of like Keenan Allen over, but
let's see.
Well, I guess we'll do everything that you want to do, but it's all right. No, all right, we'll go Herbert over. It's on you if this fails. 281.5.
All right, well, I'm clipping this if it works because I'm going to remind you. If we
Money,
win,
if it doesn't work, if Herbert sucks it up again, Please clip this.
Clip this one. Yeah, clip this one.
Clip this one. With timestamp.
Any response to the smoke coming to you from Los Angeles?
I'm trying to look at the website for odds, and I'm not trying to pay attention to Christian right now.
Damn, I am. He just said you're unimportant. Corey just Kyrie'd you, Christian. He said he doesn't have time for the pawns.
I'm gonna do a little Instagram post for Christian and say, I hope that Christian put all his Rams money that he won to a good cause. And yeah, Kyrie out.
Ito Smith. Well, I actually like that line.
You like Ito Smith now?
I like that line. Yeah, it'll say 18.5. And Gurley has gotten less and less touches in the offense in the last 2 weeks.
That's why I said it. We're moving on now. You can bet Ito Smith on your own time.
Oh, I will. I'm putting half the rent on that one.
Washington football team, $2.22 on the money line. The San Francisco 49ers are paying $1.67. The 49ers are giving Washington 2.5 points in this one. I kind of like the 49ers in this spot. I know Alex Smith coming back. Well, it's not really coming back to San Francisco because they're in Arizona. So the total in this game is 43.5. I like the over. I just think the whole move for the 49ers would have been a little bit unsettling for the 49ers last week. I think they'll be a little bit more settled this week. We'll see, but I kind of like the 49ers in this matchup, minus 2.5.
Yeah, that Antonio Gibson injury is not only brutal to the
it's great for my fantasy team.
I was gonna say to the fantasy. Well, I mean, it's great because I have McKissick shares because of you. Shout out to Corey. But yeah,
right
it's talking to you like you're not here. Yeah, McKissick. I may love him in props. I don't know if he's really gonna carry the load for the football team in that regard. I wanted to go with Washington, but without Gibson, I give me the 49ers 2.5.
All right, fine. We agree on that one. Quarterback props, we got Nick Mullins at 240.5, Alex Smith at 231.5. Nick Mullins throw 2 touchdowns is paying $1.82. Alex Smith over 1.5 touchdowns is paying $2.19. Rushing props, Raheem Mostert's at 47.5. Never again. Peyton Barber at 42.5. J.D. McKissick is at 33.5. Raheem Mostert at rushing and receiving is at 16.5. J.D. McKissick's at 65.5. Receiving props, McKissick's at 35.5. Ayuk's at 56.5. McLaurin at 74.5. Logan Thomas at 30.5. He's been crushing it. Raheem Mostert is at 10.5. Deebo Samuel 56.5. Cam Sims 34.5. Steven Sims at 18.5. Jordan Reed at 33.5. Kendrick Bourne at 26.5. McKissick receptions at 4.5. Ayuk's at 4.5. McLaurin at 6.5. Deebo's at 5.5. Cam Sims at 2.5. Steven Sims at 1.5. Logan Thomas 3.5. Jordan Reed 3.5. And Kendrick Bourne at 2.5. Ooh, my boy. Kendrick Bourne over 2.5 catches.
You and Kendrick Bourne, man. Kendrick.
He went over last week.
I'm not touching his lines.
Come on, man.
Deebo and Ayuk, man.
What?
2.5. Oh, I mean, actually, you know what? He's been on a run.
Oh yeah. He has. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I mean, do we even have to have a full conversation on this one? I think McKissick receiving yards. I mean, McKissick's been a constant on this power parlay.
I mean, Kendrick Bourne, the last 4 games, 8 catches, 4 catches, 3 catches, 4 catches.
I just want you to know the 2 times we put Bourne on our power parlay, he has not come through for you. I just want you to know that the times we've put him on here, he hasn't been great. The times that we haven't put him on here, he's covered for your personal one. So I think you're holding out on this.
Be on the lookout. I'm doing a huge same game around this game anyway. So, I'm taking Cam Sims over. I'm just going to be doing everything over in this one. So, J.D. McKissick over receiving yards. Is that where we're going?
Yeah, I think that's a move.
35.5. Done. Love the props in that one. I like Ayuk, I like Debo. Like, just give me everything in that game. Pittsburgh Steelers, and your Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Buffalo Bills. Steelers opened up as favorites in this game. It flipped on its head. The Buffalo Bills are now 2-point favorites in this one. Steelers paying $2.06 on the money line. The Buffalo Bills paying $1.77 on the money line. The total in this game is 48.5, and I'm going over the total. That's paying $1.85 for the over on 48.5. What do you say about this game?
Give me the Steelers money line.
You would. All right, moving on.
Yes.
I'm not really talk about them. Josh Allen passing yards at 267.5. Ben Roethlisberger's at 269.5. Ben Roethlisberger to throw over 1.5 touchdowns, paying $1.53. Josh Allen over 1.5 touchdowns is $1.50. Rushing props, Josh Allen's at 29.5. Devin Singletary 33.5. James Conner at 50.5. Zach Moss at 27.5. Receiving props, we got Singletary at 13.5 yards, Cole Beasley at 61.5, Stephon Diggs at 75.5, Ebron 39.5. He's been pretty consistent. Juju is at 56.5. James Washington, my guy, 17.5. Came up with a huge touchdown last week. Deontay Johnson 16.5. Chase Claypool down to 40.5. That's down about 12 yards from where he's usually at. Gabriel Davis at 45.5. Dawson Knox 20.5. Stephon Diggs receptions is at 5.5. Deontay Johnson's also at 5.5. Juju's at 5.5. Claypool at 3.5. Ebron at 3.5. Cole Beasley at 5.5. Gabriel Davis at 3.5. All right. What's it going to be? You can go with a homer pick here?
Deontay receptions.
No.
It's been money for 5 weeks straight. I do like James Washington. I think he continues to get the ball in clutch moments, and
I'm not
pretty much. You're not betting James Washington
anywhere near the power parlay.
Damn, look at you! Oh, but Kendrick Bourne gets all the love.
Yeah, I'll take Kendrick Bourne over James Washington in this spot.
All right. I'm gonna write a BFF article for James Washington. Maybe he'll earn a spot here. So you don't like Deontay? That's fair.
I like Cole. I like Cole Beasley in this game.
Cole Beasley. Let's see, his yards are.
The Steelers have played literally no good pass offenses.
Easily. Hold on. Let me check the injury report because I know Hayden got hurt last game and Steven Nelson missed the game last week. So let me just see how they're doing.
Yeah, and the fact that the Steelers are losing people, like, I don't know. They've lost so many defense.
It's brutal, man.
So while you do that, the Steelers have played the Giants, Daniel Jones. They played Drew Lock.
We are down Joe Hayden. We're down Joe Hayden.
They played the Eagles. They played the Browns. They played the Titans. They played the Ravens. They played the Cowboys, the Bengals, the Jags, Ravens again, Alex Smith. So please tell me where they played a good passing offense. So what Brian Daboll is doing with Josh Allen is absolutely amazing. The Bills' passing offense has been sensational this year. I don't know if the Steelers can hold up.
How did you say that?
What? The Bills?
No, usually anything about Josh Allen being positive, you typically kind of keep your comments away from it.
I do, but I mean, gotta give shouts out to Brian Daboll. Genius.
Look at that. I knew it was gonna have a little backhand to it. Beasley, hold on, because Beasley has been killing it, especially. John Brown's not playing this game, correct?
Correct.
Got it. You like his yards?
I like his yards, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he definitely. Oof. You know what? I'm biased as F, so I'm going to let you have full jurisdiction on this one.
Well, if we go Ebron,
you're going to make a same pick.
If we go Ebron over?
What's his total at?
39.5.
39.5 for my guy Ebron, who has been a tight end 5 in the last 6 weeks. Shout out to him. 35. Wow, he's hit that in 4 straight, and his target share has been phenomenal. 39.5. Oh, then he's only hit that the last 2 games, but the last 2 games he's had 11 targets, 7 receptions. Yeah, no, I think the target share is there. I think he'll he'll definitely get that. But
All right,
again,
let's go with Ebron for safety.
Ebron over. Shout out to Ebron, my guy.
Shout out to Eric Ebron, Stonehands.
All right.
You did have. Did you see the game last week?
I did. Okay, I'm just
like 3 times a game.
I didn't defend him. I was just like, yo, chill.
All right. Last but not least, the last game of our Power Parlay: Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. The Baltimore Ravens are $1.61 money line favorite. The Browns are getting 3 points in this one. I like the Ravens -3. I know the Browns are a very hyped team right now, but I like the Ravens in this game. They crushed them the first meeting. I believe it was 38-6. Different kind of Cleveland team. Well, very different, obviously, because they don't have the same weapons. But other than OBJ is out, so the total in this game is at 46.5. I would lean to the over, but I don't love it. I think it could be just a little bit of a slugfest. I think the Ravens defense does a job on the Cleveland Browns here.
Yeah, no, I'm leaning with the Ravens too.
Wreck this game, by the way.
That's very true. That's very true. I definitely in leaning on the Ravens covering. I think a bounce back game is in order. And as being a part of AFC North Twitter, I'd love to see the Browns fans kind of have a humbling game because they are wilding on Twitter right now. So let's go Ravens.
I don't know what that feels like. I'm nowhere near AFC North Twitter, so.
Well, I mean, your team has been dominant for the last 2 decades, so who's really going to tell you guys anything?
I'm in AFC East Twitter mode, so I don't see that. The only thing I hear is Bills Mafia. But I don't really
see the Darnold and the Tua truthers are really in your ear right now.
Yeah, they're all over the place. Lamar Jackson passing yards at 198.5. Baker Mayfield's at 220.5. Lamar Jackson to throw 2 touchdowns is paying $2.33. Baker Mayfield throw 2 is paying $2.19. Rushing props, we got Lamar Jackson 53.5. Gus Edwards 30.5. J.K. Dobbins, my guy, $1.88 for the over is paying 40. Or sorry, the over is at 48.5. Nick Chubb's at 79.5. Kareem Hunt's at 48.5. J.K. Dobbins rushing receiving 59.5. Nick Chubb rushing receiving is at 86.5. Kareem Hunt rushing receiving is at 65.5. Rushing props, receiving props. J.K. Dobbins at 9.5 yards receiving. Mark Andrews is due back, 44.5 yards receiving. Marquise Brown, 47.5 yards receiving. Nick Chubb at 6.5 yards receiving. Kareem Hunt, 16.5. Rashard Higgins, 37.5. Jarvis Landry, my guy, tough matchup this week. Marlon Humphrey, 16.5 yards receiving. I'm just totally botching these.
That's an under.
Mark Andrews total receptions at 3.5. Marquise Brown 3.5. Rashard Higgins 2.5 receptions, and Jarvis Landry at 4.5 receptions. What's it going to be? Do you trust Landry to win that matchup? His target share is ridiculous.
Yeah, his target share is ridiculous. His line is literally half a yard over what he got last time against the Baltimore Ravens in that Week 1 matchup. 5 receptions, 61 yards on 6 targets. Yeah, I mean,
you could go over 4.5 receptions.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. I like that one. J.K. Dobbins rushing is interesting too.
48.5.
Yeah, I like that one too. Then a sneaky one. We're never gonna put this one on the Power Parlay for the time being, but I might even go with Marquise Brown, but not for the Power Parlay.
Sorry,
I know. It's been a horrible year to bet on Ravens on a Marquise. I was gonna say Goodwin, Marquise Brown,
or Marquise Goodwin. Don't bet on him this year because he opted out.
Dobbins or Landry are kind of where I'm. Is the Ravens rush? Let's see how Nick Chubb did against the when Nick Chubb was contained to a 6-yard average, 60 yards on 10 carries.
I don't know if that's being contained other than by the play caller.
I don't know, man. Landry receptions, especially with his target share, I like a lot, even against this Browns team. But that first game, he did have OBJ on the other side of him.
But Landry's good enough to get open 5 times.
Yeah. And as long as he makes 2 steps before Humphreys pops the ball out, we should be good.
All right, let's go Landry over 4.5 receptions then.
If it comes down to Landry, I'm going to tweet him like, bro, I want you to put super glue on your hands, please. Receptions. All right, man. Where do we stand on this power parlay?
All right. Well, moment of truth is about to happen, and I will cut back to the screen here. And we are at $5 winning us $142,216.55. 55 cents.
Oh, it's a nice apartment in Los Angeles.
You don't get the whole thing. You have to split it with me.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. I'll pay your rent for about a month.
By the way, for everybody watching this or hearing this on the podcast version, if you know where Corey lives, please let me know that address. It'll be a start in case he goes AWOL on me if this hits.
Wow.
I'm gonna be texting Lewis like every day, like, where does he live?
I'm just gonna run away with the 142K. All right. So confirm that. That's in. Boom. Done. 28,443 to 1 odds in that one. And that will do it for us here at the Bets Unwrapped podcast. Really appreciate your time, Alex. Thanks for coming on. And you can check us out on Twitter at BetsUSN. And you can also do your own power parlay yourself if you're so inclined. Check out mybookie.ag. Use the code USN100 to get a 100% deposit match bonus plus $15 you can put on a super parlay yourself or just a huge power parlay like we do. So check that out. Also check out rxhemp.com. Use the code RXHemp-USN to get all those aches and pains out of your body. Get them out. Okay, no one likes those. So as Alex showing there on the screen. So 10% off your entire order by using that code. So check that out, and we will talk to you guys soon.